أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة، الحضور الكريم، يطيب لي أن أتقدم إليكم بالشكر الجزيل على حضوركم الميمون للمؤتمر الصحفي للملتقى الاستثماري الأول للطاقة. فلكم كل الشكر والتقدير، فأنتم رواد المعرفة والمسؤولون عن تسويقها في لبنات المجتمع الراقي. منذ فترة طويلة تراودني التوقعات والآمال ويحذوني المستقبل المشرق لمملكة البحرين، الأمر الذي دفعني وفريق عملي إلى التفكير جليا في طموح يلامس مستوى توقعات القيادة الرشيدة من رواد الأعمال، في أفكار استثمارية جديدة تحلق بالبحرين في آفاق صناعة المستقبل. وقد كان فقد دأبنا على العمل الجاد والمتواصل منذ مقاربة العام في وضع الاستعدادات الخاصة بالملتقى الاستثماري الأول للطاقة، الذي يشكل طفرة نوعية في صناعة المؤتمرات الدولية من ناحية، وفي جذب الاستثمارات ورؤوس الأموال من ناحية أخرى. لقد أخذنا على أنفسنا عهد منذ وضع لبنات التطوير الأخيرة أن نقدم مشروعات تساهم في تطوير المستقبل وتسعى لزرع الأمل والتفاؤل وتحقق تطلعات القيادة الرشيدة في تهيئة بيئة جاذبة للاستثمار محققة لآمال ومستقبل الأجيال القادمة. لذا فإننا ندعوكم اليوم للمشاركة في الملتقى الاستثماري الأول للطاقة الذي يعقد بمملكة البحرين بمركز البحرين الدولي للمعارض والمؤتمرات في الفترة ما بين 17 إلى 19 سبتمبر، حيث يشتمل الملتقى على 3 فعاليات رئيسية، وهي الملتقى الاستثماري، وهو عبارة عن ملتقى تدريبي يلتقي فيه كبار المستثمرين في الطاقة بكافة أنواعها، إلى جانب المعرض التجاري الذي يضم عددا كبيرا من كبرى الشركات العاملة في مجال الطاقة، بالإضافة للقاءات الطاولة المستديرة بين كبار المستثمرين والعاملين في مجال الطاقة التخصصية. إنها دعوة أصدح بها أمام العالم بأسره. أقول للجميع إننا في مملكتنا الحبيبة وفي ظل قيادتنا الرشيدة لا نألو جهدا في إزالة كل العقبات أمام الاستثمارات الجادة، تطلعات أن تتضافر كافة الجهود من أجل التنمية المستدامة. وفقكم الله جميعا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sun emits enough solar energy that is equivalent to life sustenance on Earth for over 500 million years. Earth receives enough energy, enough sunlight that is equivalent to our whole year's energy consumption on Earth. If this is so, why do we have energy crisis in the world? Chairman of the STEEB committee, my fellow organizing committee members, His Excellency the Ambassadors, the Members of Parliament, Honorable Chief Executive Officers, responsible press and media, and my dear friends, a very warm good evening to you all. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the so-called STEEB 2017, which is going to be the first time in Bahrain. Sun is abundant resource of energy. Since the beginning of time, humans have used this sun energy for everything they did. As the time passed, the focus moved from sun to other resources. Unfortunately, due to the overusage and misuse of these resources, the nature is disturbed. And it has led to a situation where the life sustenance on Earth itself has become a danger. Considering all this and realizing the responsibility, the wise people at the United Nations resolved and mandated each and every nation and each and every individual to adopt the truly sustainable development goals, which are 17 of them, promising prosperity to all and protection to the planet for the future generations to come. Let's take today the number 7, which is affordable clean energy, which is universal access, promising a universal access to everyone. Universal access, which is clean, sustainable energy to all by 2030. These goals are to be met by 2030. Our current status, global production capacity, stands at 17 terawatts, while the solar production stands at only 300 gigawatts. This means we are at 2% of the total global production capacity, solar. International Energy Agency estimates that this percentage of 2 need to reach 16 in another 13 years. That means at an average rate of over 1% per annum, considering the growing population, growing demand. This is a big task to be achieved. Now, realizing the requirements in Bahrain, our visionary government, led by His Majesty the King Hamad and the Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Khalifa bin Salman Khalifa, have drafted a resolution to bring out this goal as 7% of sustainable energy by 2030. That means we have 13 years to go, and we are currently at 0.2% of the generation of solar of the total energy generation in Bahrain. 13 years to go from 0.2 to 7%. Indeed, it's a humongous task. It's a task that is in front of us, which is difficult as it looks. There are some hurdles, like we have limited space in Bahrain. The space is very costly. You can't put huge solar panels everywhere, unlike other desert countries or other countries. And also we lack a bit of initiative from, we don't have the technologies that we really need to, and the directions that we are working on. So these are things, obstacles that we see today, but there is a rosy picture in front of you. There is a very nice, because Bahrain is blessed with such an amount of radiation that we can produce enough power for ourselves and also to export to the other countries. That is how we are in. The radiation in Bahrain is very high, as you all know. More than that, if we can work on solar, we can save on oil, and that can be exported and revenue can be generated. In addition to that, oil resources are draining, as you know, running out of in time. It's going to be dry. So we need to adopt to alternate energy resources. More than that, Bahrain is blessed with over 200 financial organizations in the country, and it is a center for Islamic banking. So this brings in all positive thoughts that we need to look at and bring in solar to Bahrain. This is the idea. Engineer Amira worked on it probably and brought out this solar to Bahrain, thinking that we are working on these goals of bringing in solar to Bahrain. We have a dream that solar becomes the future in Bahrain, future energy source in Bahrain. We have the dream that each and every home is fed with solar power, and not only that, we can even export solar power to other countries. This is our dream with which we are progressing. When I think about it, it brings to my childhood memories where I used to see sunflowers booming and showing, focusing to the sun all the time. we will bring in such a kind of flower in Bahrain. We hope to bring in this kind of flower to Bahrain in the next exhibition, that is STEEB. This company is in Austria, and they're producing 4 and 7 kilowatt solar flowers. And that means it's probably equal to 1 villa requirements. Maybe 2 for a big villa, 1 for a small villa. If we can bring in here, the cost of it is ranging from $12,000 to $20,000. I'm sure as the time goes by, the cost will come down, the technology will also improve, and it will have more capacities too. This flower can be, we're working on it to bring in here and showcase this during the events STEEB 2017. We also have the carts. We are in touch with the Australian Solar World Challenge. We would like to bring in the cars that are going to be displayed in World Solar Challenge in Australia in October. Some of those last year models, we expect to get them here. We also think of the other products that we can think of are solar trees. These are the future. We have been in discussions with some of the companies to bring in a tree here which can showcase solar production from a tree. Not the natural tree, an artificial tree. SolPad is a company manufacturing solar intelligent solar pads. We have intentions to bring this too. As you all know, BIPVs, building integrated photovoltaics, have gone that far. We can bring into our buildings. All these companies have shown interest, and we are working on it to bring these products to the exhibition STEEB 2017. This STEEB 2017 will have an investment forum. That means an exhibition and a forum for discussions to increase the investments as well as the business modules. And it'll have an exhibition, and it'll have the conference. The program is set with the speakers being finalized. Hopefully, we'll be able to give full details in the next press conference. Business meetings, which will reflect one-to-one talks with the business investors or investors and the business innovators in the market. We also have plans to put up a workshop which is going to be organized by some of the universities, catering to the students. The intention is to identify the best technology that suits to Bahrain, and also to identify the sponsor or the investor who can come in and take all these buckets so that they can move forward with the solar technologies. As the minister has already promised, new homes and buildings will have to start complying with using a certain percentage of power generated through solar energy. The solar panels and connections are not that expensive. They are affordable and can be obtained easily for homes and buildings. Taking that statement forward, we would like to showcase all that is possible for you to take home and invest for a prosperous Bahrain. The partners we are dealing with are all listed here, and we look forward to your cooperation. Thank you. Thank you to each one of you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Okay, let me speak in English first. Welcome you all to this maybe event, and I think it's one of the unique events will be in Bahrain that combine between a technical conference forum and an exhibition in the commercial side, and get together with all the companies specialized in renewable energy. Just for a quick history, I graduated my first degree in King Fahd University in Dhahran 1975, and that year my project was a solar energy project. So when I did, it was how to optimize the solar water heaters, and when I try to ask the people and maybe some companies and some governmental things, why don't we try to use solar? Nobody was thinking of solar that time really. After that, the years gone, Then I finished my PhD in 1984. I submitted the first project for Ministry of Electricity in Bahrain, and they told me we don't need solar. So that was 1984. So I told them, okay, you try at least the simplest way to use, which was water heaters. And if you use a solar water heater for every house in Bahrain, which is a very easy technology, it can be done in any workshop, that water heaters, so you can at least save 10% of the consumption of electricity. But unfortunately, the energy in Bahrain that time was almost free, so they're not really thinking to convert or even to use solar. So the years gone, and then a lot of companies start working in research and developing renewable energy in general and solar energy specifically. And as you know, that a lot of companies in United States and Europe, they really work hard to have a lot of projects. And these main projects was because of the legislation in these countries like Germany, Spain. So all these countries, European, even some of them, they don't have much sun like Germany, but because the legislation are very good there, so they have a lot of factories producing solar cells and so many other panels and so on. Unfortunately, in our Arab countries, most of our Arab countries, we don't have a real legislation or the regulations to produce these type of energy and even to connecting with the grid. So many these small things has to be worked on by the governmental parties to really make the solar possible to be used in our countries. Just an example, a few years back, maybe everybody in the area, they think of solar, but even wind, if you use wind, it can be utilized. In Bahrain, maybe the average wind speed is relatively speaking is small. It's not as average, maybe 4 meters per second, and that is not enough really to run our wind energy turbines. But there are some companies, at least I know one of the companies in Germany, they have smaller wind energy turbines which can be worked even if you have a 3 meters per second wind velocity. So usually all this, in a few years back, we are invited to submit a proposal to one of the Arab countries. They said, but we don't have budget. So we brought some companies, they submit the proposal, and the proposal was about wind energy. So the company we arranged with, they was ready to fix a 1,000 megawatt power plant, wind power plant for that country. Then they said, we are not ready, we don't have ready for the grid side. So you cannot go, we maximum we can go to 100. So a lot of these small things I think has to be studied by different countries to really make these companies which is working hard to utilize solar and wind to be used in the area. Again, one of the main things I think, maybe you can bring some bigger projects, and as we know, according to our Vision 2030, there are certain percentage we have to use renewable energy. But again, really to continue that, we should have work on the awareness for utilizing these type of energies. And this is what we suggest really years back to our TV, radio, and this, to really use awareness different programs about renewable energy, solar, wind, and so on. Without using these type of programs, even in universities, you have really to teach these type of things. So in the end of the day, you have a group or a lot of experts and the people knowledgeable in these type of energies. Otherwise, then you have to bring a company, they fix the machinery for you, you start this, produce this, the electricity from solar, from the wind, and you have to keep their technician forever. So I think one of the things, yes, it should be a real awareness for these type of things. Just an example, once I was teaching an elective course, solar energy engineering in University of Bahrain, and for the last year of students, which they were graduate as a mechanical engineers. So the first session, I told them, we have a small quiz for 10 minutes only, or 15 minutes. Just get your paper, and I put down the question that design a solar or wind, any renewable energy machine suitable for Bahrain. Very general, and all the students, they said, we did not take anything. This is the first class. I said, yes, but now 4 years of engineering you're taking, you should think. In the end of this, the class, 50 minutes, nobody put anything on the paper. Then I give them 1 more week to submit that quiz, and I ask them to go to the library and how to dig the information about solar energy. And I ask one of the people in charge in the library to teach them how to dig for the information. So what happened really, when they went for 1 week, they read a lot, they did a lot, they came back with so many good ideas. So I told them, what did you learn in this week? They said, I think we learned the things that we did not learn for the last 4 years. Because we asked him to go and dig for information. And I think this is one of the things will be very unique and important in this expo and forum, that a lot of commercial companies which work in renewable energy, plus some technologists and experts and researchers, I think if they get all these people together, the output should be very good and useful for the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to be here and supporting STEEB. I just wanted to give a little bit introduction about Sustainable Energy Unit, because it is a newly established government agency under His Excellency Minister of Electricity and Water Authority. The main purpose of Sustainable Energy Unit is to promote renewable energy and energy efficiency, and our main task is actually to address all these challenges that have been voiced, i.e. developing policy, strategies, laws and regulations for the Kingdom of Bahrain to promote renewable energy and energy efficiency. In the last year, SEU has been working on developing the first 2 national policy documents, National Renewable Energy Action Plan and National Energy Efficiency Action Plan. These documents, they have been developed in consultation with all partners and stakeholders like government agencies, industries and academia. And these action plans, they set renewable energy targets for Bahrain. Now we have approved targets. It's 5% by 2025 and 10% by 2035 for renewable energy, and for the energy efficiency we have set now a target of 6% by 2025. These plans, they have been endorsed by the cabinet in October 2016, and now SEU is in the process of implementing these action plans. So what do these action plans do? They have identified and proposed number of necessary renewable energy and energy efficiency policies and also initiatives in order to harness all these opportunities. So what we will be doing in the upcoming conference is actually presenting those policies and initiatives so that you can learn more about what is being planned in the government sector, basically. So this is just a short introduction on the SEU and our participation. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to thank you for your attendance to this event. I'll start with Tamkeen vision as basically just to see the link between it and our appearance here. Our vision is to develop the economy of Bahrain by supporting the Bahraini employee, or the Bahrainis to become the employees of choice, and also empowering the private sector to become the engine of growth for sustainable economic growth. And that's where we see that the acquirement of such technology, solar energy and alternative energy to the current used one is basically shifting the private sectors, shifting the manufacturing sectors and all other sectors to better positions in consuming energy. We have schemes in Tamkeen that support such acquirement of technology. Companies here are maybe familiar with it. Some of them have utilized the schemes, and the acquirement of solar energy and possible alternative energies is going to be part, hopefully, in this scheme. We can support it in companies that would like to reduce their consumptions of energy, and therefore this basically going to benefit them in increasing their profits. That's why basically we are sharing with this with these partners in this conference and exhibition to showcase the benefits of using such technology. We'd like to see you there, and would like to see more of the private sector in this exhibition, and hopefully, inshallah, we will be playing a part in the development of the Bahrainis companies. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Dr. Zain Martin Thirlwell, and I've been invited here today to speak on the topic of solar energy and how to bring about a little encouragement regarding the opportunities for the need for investment in renewable energy here in Bahrain and also in Saudi Arabia. I'm actually based in Saudi Arabia, but we have our company here and also in Saudi. Bahrain companies can invest and can work in Saudi Arabia without any hassle. At the same time, foreign companies who are investing in Saudi Arabia prefer really to be based out of Bahrain than Saudi Arabia for a number of reasons, which I'm sure that you all know. Let's face it. Which country has more sun than Bahrain and Saudi Arabia? And we all know that the Bahrain and Saudi governments are now very keen to diversify and reduce their reliance on carbon-based fuels. As the CEO of German Consulting Center here in Bahrain, I also have business interest in real estate here in Bahrain, steel fabrication and contracting in Saudi Arabia. And we are involved in supporting the major contractors also in the solar energy department in Saudi Arabia. As a British national, I've spent 34 years of my working life in the Middle East, in particular Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. I've been involved, as I said, in real estate, contracting, manufacturing arena, and I don't recall a time when so many activities are going on regarding renewable fuel and the chances and opportunities to be involved in this ever-growing market. And yes, the chance to invest and make money in what now the government see clearly as a means to support their determination in attracting investments and rebalancing their economies for a sustainable growth, not forgetting that they do possess abundance of oil and gas reserves. In this, renewable fuel is making headway to become the future. There is no question that there are times in history when the world that we live in, we wake up, we find very difficult challenges. And I mean the environment. But in a positive manner, we need to face up to these difficulties, as the world is as dangerous as it could be. So by getting involved in making investments that can and will bring back good profits, we are also doing our share in supporting the environment by pushing forward with renewable energy and stepping aside from the solid, liquid or gas-based fuels. Pollution of our rivers, seas, atmosphere is also of great concern. But investing in the future, and I mean renewable energy, it's a step we should all take. The bottom line is we need to take this opportunity that stands in front of us and capitalize on it. It's a fact that renewable energy sources are poised to take over the global share of energy sources in the future. According to REN's 2016 report, renewable energy makes up nearly 20% of global energy consumption. By 2030, renewable energy sources are expected to grow to over 60% of the market share, totaling 5,579 gigawatts of new generation capacity. In that time span, the share of fossil fuels will drop by 20% from its overall 70% share today. These figures encourage us to invest where and how we can and be involved in business opportunities that renewable energy offers. In our venue today, as I understand, we have guests from all sectors of the government, educational institutions, business community, distinguished business leaders, business development experts, innovators, contractors, manufacturers, fabricators, and of course, I'm confident that there are those out there among you are just here to know a little bit more about solar and if there is a chance for them to be investors. I don't wish to bore you with figures concerning power demands of various countries in the region and what actions have been taken to tackle this, but with a fraction of 1% of the Saudi Arabian oil supply coming from renewable energy, the Kingdom is currently progressing a very ambitious plans for alternative energy conversions. This plan is driven by a large demand for fuels and power, for power, industry, transportation, and desalination. To name a few, which has been estimated to grow from 3.4 million barrels of oil per day in 2010 to 8.3 million barrels of oil per day today per day by 2028. This promoted the Saudi Arabian government and the King Abdullah City for Atomic and Renewable Energy, KAKE, in Saudi to be established in 2010 with a clear mandate to develop and renew the power sector. The new Saudi Vision 2030, the Bahrain Saudi Vision 2030, is a new driving force for development of renewable energy. It's a serious vision by both governments and one that we can look forward to as we even speak today. Saudi Arabia has already acknowledged that it's begun to shift from solar fuel to, for their electricity generation. Imagine that the Kingdom burns more fossil fuel than any country to generate power, over 9,000 barrels of oil per day. Saudi Arabia originally set out a target in 2010 to install 41 gigawatts of clean power by 2040. This is equivalent to 30 nuclear reactors. And that initiative was forecast to cost more than $100 billion US and produce a third of the nation's electricity from solar. The Saudi government has now announced new plans changing the program to 9.5 gigawatts by 2030. It's a common stand now to encourage everyone to make the extra effort and do your own research into the needs of the Bahrain and Saudi market demand for renewable energy. And I, for one, can assure you that you won't be disappointed. The Saudi Arabian Vision 2030 is a major move in its government's efforts for sustainable growth. The country is attracting investment in efforts to rebalance its economy, and that is the key to sustainable growth. It's a very brave and bold move for the government has taken, and there is no question that many in the finance arena worldwide consider this as an exciting time for the region. They see profits from this investments in solar energy demand, and that's what it's really all about. We all need to take hold of the common thread regarding investments and pull hard. We can't deny that the thread is there, it's only waiting to be pulled, and for sure it will unravel. Only to allow us to know that we are holding a key to the answer of renewable energy demands. It's simple: end our reliance on carbon-based fuels and seek alternatives. Solar energy is ready available. Clear air, less pollution in our rivers, seas, and above all, investment opportunities from this supportive directive from both the Bahrain and Saudi governments. It's a massive challenge to all, but it's a fact that here in the Arabian Gulf, there is a keen and solid support from the governments to invest in renewable fuel and not fossil-based. Fossil-based fuels, as you know, cause pollution. But most of all, fuel is ready available in our back door, as the going says. As I mentioned, we have more sun than anybody. Solar energy is a solution, and we all know it. And now, since the local governments are backing this concept, we only now need to reach out and look for the technologies and start bringing it to the region. As you know very well, investing in solar energy does not just mean solar panels. There are many logistical requirements and needs to support and complement solar business. And as I had said, investment means many other business opportunities related to solar energy that are required. I, for one, am dealing with steel fabrication and supporting the solar department. A fascinating fact is that international scientists have confirmed that there is enough solar energy falling on the earth to cover all of our needs. It's just taking the right steps to tap this unlimited source of energy. In addition, here in the Gulf, there is sufficient wind power also to supplement and support our needs. Combine solar and wind power, and we have an enormous supply of electricity, not just for the area, but also for exporting. The climate here dictates that there are possibilities for Bahrain and Saudi Arabia to be a power hub for the region. Across Saudi Arabia today, there are numerous projects that are starting to use solar energy, and it's catching on very fast. And since the governments have now announced the Saudi Arabian Vision 2030, the area of investments is getting the needed attention and support from the government. Across the world, there are new technologies in solar energy and wind conversion techniques. They are coming into the market quickly, as what has been mentioned by our co-speakers today. This technology is advancing fast. The region is seeking such technologies, and this is where business opportunities exist. For the last 3.5 decades of my life here in the region, I can see a great change. A real interest is now coming for the companies that are manufacturing these new technologies, experts in the field of solar technology, wind power generation, and the like. All have opportunities in business relations, starting from sponsorships, joint ventures, supplying only of the technology, and even companies or individuals that are entering into the foreign investment opportunities that both Bahrain and Saudi Arabia offer. The quickest, cheapest, and best way to start using these renewable energy is the production of electricity to support the supply and demand that we have. In fact, Saudi Arabia long ago started using solar power to support electrical requirements in houses, street lights, sewage, irrigation needs. Now it's increasing daily. Government agencies and the private sector are always looking for companies, both local and foreign, to offer solutions. Companies based out of Bahrain, supporting and getting business from the Saudi side, are most welcome. You can consider that Vision 2030 is a new challenge, not just to the governments to commit to producing electricity needs from renewable energy, but also to the private sector. And for these companies and individuals that need to be involved is truly clean carbon-free power supply. Now is the time to look how can you invest, how can you be part of an ever-growing demand to achieve affordable alternative power demands. In every walk of life, from the political leaders to entrepreneurs, innovators, engineers, they are all gathering up to be involved and have their share in the market business demands. With the way the oil prices are fluctuating, the need to move from relying on oil in Saudi Arabia is really a must. Saudi Arabia has openly expressed this, and the government supports it 100%. It's time to explore on how you, as local and international business leaders and business development experts, innovators, local and foreign companies and manufacturers can be involved. After listening to our speakers before me today, there are numerous opportunities in renewable energy technologies for the Bahrain and Saudi Arabian requirements. It's well worth investigating what role or share of the market that you can be involved in. Thank you very much. I wish you all a pleasant evening, and of course, I wish you the best in your share of renewable energy business in our region. Thank you.